Okay, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Welcome to our new session on Sunday afternoon. So before we begin, it's a good opportunity to think about that Allah blessed us with another week on earth, right? That was an opportunity to score some positive points, good points, hasanat, good deeds, and to stay away from negative deeds. And so something to think about in that sense, and also how did we do in terms of our awareness and remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our increasing in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And obviously once that happens, there are external factors, there's external manifestation of what's in your heart. Number one of that being your commitment to the prayers, right? So you having the ability to stop whatever you're doing, such as business, work, friends, sleep, watching things, what have you, and then pausing that and engaging in a meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's from the physical aspects of it, and then what is the quality of that meeting, right? And related to that, so last week we were talking about the word Rabb, right? And we discussed 3 elements to that. Let's see who remembers that. So what are the 3 elements, 3 qualities including in the word Rabb?
He's the creator.
Okay, so he's the creator of everything, right? So from that angle, he has created everything that exists, everything that I have, everything that I want, as well as everything that I don't want, right? So having this in your mind, present and being aware of it, will lead you to submission of Allah, even if it means displeasing others, even if it means pausing other activities, right? So that's one, creator. And second, Sam, come on, let's do it. So that's good. So that's why we want to repeat it, right? Because that is the most important one. So he is the creator. And yeah,
Sustainer,
right? So sustainer is what I was saying, what I like to probably call it fully in charge, right? Because in that sense, he's sustaining it, meaning, remember we talked about it, that he is the one who would grow it, who would protect it, and who would increase it. At the same time, he is the one who can take it back, or destroy it, or take it from you, or give it to somebody else, right? So he's fully in charge of everything that he has created, that exists, and that includes the physical things, as well as the emotions, right? As well as the health or sickness, right? So he is the one. So if you have something, let's say you have the emotion of happiness and tranquility, then he is the one who can sustain it, to grow it, to give you more of it, to give you steadfastness on it, to give you, same thing with the light of faith, right? The iman, the faith in your heart. He's the one who can sustain it, grow it, give you more of it, or decrease it, right? Health, wealth, everything. So that's the point. So he created it, and then he's the one who can sustain it, grow it, protect it, or take it away. Okay, and then there's third element of it is? Okay, please. Somebody has to do it. Bismillah. Okay, so if you create something, right, then I can sell this water to you. So what happens when I sell, what happens?
transaction.
Okay, so what changes in the transaction?
Ownership.
Owner. Right? So that's very important. That what he has given us, or what he has created us, he is still the owner, right? So if he has given me eyesight and hearing and body, he's entrusted me with it, he still owns it. So if he takes it back, it was his to begin with, and he blessed me with it. Same thing with relationships. So he enjoyed me to have a wife, right? If that breaks up, at the end of the day, it was his blessing of enjoyment, the companionship that he blessed me with, and now he's able to take it. So meaning that whatever we are chasing, usually that results in action, right? That's why we are trying to please some people, that's why we are trying to do something. But if we realize that he is the creator, he is the owner, he is the protector, he is the sustainer, and at the end of the day, he is also able to take it back. So that would inshallah help us to be more submissive and be patient and happy with some of the painful decrees that happen when we have some sort of a temporary word loss. Okay. So we'll just continue with that. So Darshan, if you can, Sam, you want to read the translation of verse number 13? Sorry, Rob.
Oh, okay. Whether you speak in secret or aloud, he knows what is in every heart.
Okay, right. So what we're trying to do is get action points, right? So meaning, how does the verses of Quran help us to think better, to feel better, and to act better? So let's say if you're reading this at home and you just have access to the translation, obviously you don't have access to a lot of details. So how does that change your thinking process, your feeling process, your feelings, and your actions? Okay, from this verse, what would you take away? Anybody? Rob?
I guess I think it comes down to well, I mean, when we hear people say things, I already think what people think in their head. Like, you know, we're walking down the street and we think this person, you know, like may think one thing, you know, like Allah knows what's in that person's heart.
Yeah.
So it's not up to us to judge.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's one good point. Very good. Anybody else?
Yeah, he knows your inner feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, he knows what's inside of you. And
Okay. Sam, you have anything to add?
I was gonna say something he said.
Okay. Yeah. So just if I were to recap or add a few things, so you know our own statements, right? So if we are plotting against people, if we are backbiting people, you know, if we are talking bad about people, even though that person is not hearing us, Allah is hearing us, right? And from His justice and mercy, that statements would have consequences. Likewise, if there are other people plotting against us, right? So I'm trying to pray. I'm like, I don't know what my colleagues are thinking about me, right? Maybe they're gonna, you know, not give me the promotion or not give me the bonus or what have you. But Allah knows their plots too, right? And it's impossible that if I'm showing up for a meeting with Allah, you know, I'm gonna suffer some harm, right? That is not befitting the mercy of Allah in a grand picture, right? And likewise, you know, for people who might be plotting against Islam, right? Or they want to, you know, shut down Islam or, you know, the practices of Islam or so forth, Allah is aware of their plots, their plans, and what have you. So that kind of also gives you that sort of confidence, right? That, you know, whatever would happen is under that loving God that I worship, right? So even if it may be a, you know, locally speaking, in a short-term speaking, a painful thing, in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be good for me and there'll be success. Okay, and then there's another component of it, إِنَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. So He is aware, all-knowing of what is in the hearts, right? So that's also something for me to purify. Why am I doing something? Why am I Muslim? Why am I praying, right? And how can I purify that? And how can I make it more and more towards Allah and for the pleasure of Allah and not for the social aspects of things? Okay, and then Darshan, next verse, please.
Should not He who has created know? And He is the most kind and courteous to His slaves, the well acquainted with everything.
Okay. Any comments, action points?
So yeah, Allah wasn't just stating whatever the last verse. He was just asking a question,
Right.
rhetorical question.
Yeah, so from an angle of, you know, belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well, right? Some people find it hard, how can Allah know everything, right? And this is from the perfection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knows what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen. And He alone is the one who has that power and that attribute in the perfect form. And no other human being has it, right? So for example, you know, we don't believe that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is witnessing this gathering, or he's aware of the unseen with all details, what's going to happen, what has happened, and so on and so forth, right? That perfect, complete knowledge belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And that is not something surprising, as Allah said that, you know, He is the one who created, you know, it's not hard for Him to be able to know, right? And then it gives you two more attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the more we know about the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more we are aware of it, the more it will impact our thinking, our emotions, and our actions. So Al-Latif is very kind, very subtle, as well as Al-Khabir is all aware, right? All aware of everything. So imagine if you're worshiping that God who knows everything, right? I mean, your fear and anxiety should drop because, hey, you really don't have anything to fear. So if you were to take an analogy, and Allah has the highest example, there's no one like Him. If you really had a very powerful friend, you know, who's very rich, has amazing amount of resources, and you know, you're my friend, man, just do whatever you want to do, be good, I'll always be taking care of you, right? Let's say you're driving with him, right? And then you get lost. You'll be so confident that, you know, I have someone to, you know, lean on. So this is from the human example, right? You wanna, so right, some people are very afraid of taking, you know, actions towards their careers, or applying for jobs, or business ventures, or getting into a marriage or something. But if your relationship with Allah is intact, right? And if you're gonna bring it to a human analogy, if you have a partner, a venture capitalist, or an investor who's supporting you in all the steps, now think about Allah, right? So the hadith that talks about, like, the more we are concerned about pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the happier we will be, because all these small things, all these small worries will now start shifting towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our dependence and our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so we'll do Okay, we'll do one more verse, and Sam, you can do that, inshallah.
He it is who has made the earth subservient